Hi, this is Ashley Warhite with Star Life Sciences. In today's demonstration, I'm going to talk about monitoring anesthetized mice with the MouseOX Plus small animal vital signs monitor. As you can see here, I have an anesthetized white mouse. My subject is anesthetized with isoflurane, and I currently have my subject on a heating pad as sometimes they have trouble regulating their body temperature when they're anesthetized. I currently have a sensor on the subject's thigh. Just to show you what the thigh sensor looks like in closer detail, it is cupped on one end. On the other end, it is flat, and this is for monitoring anesthetized subjects only using their thigh and taking a measurement from the femoral artery. For mice, we also have other sensors. In the background here, you can see these are throat sensors. They range anywhere in size from neonate to adult. This would be for a neonatal mouse. This would be for a very large rat. These are throat sensors. They can go around the throat of the subject if the subject is laying on their back. We also have sensors that look very similar to this, but they are blue in color. They are called collar sensors, and these can be used around the back of the neck of the subject. They would just go around like this. They can be utilized if the subject is anesthetized or conscious, and they will take a reading from the carotid artery. So depending on what type of work you're doing, you should be able to find a sensor of ours that will meet your needs. We also have a separate sensor. This is for measuring core body temperature. It is an invasive probe. It's a rectal probe, but this is how we monitor temperature in subjects. So this is an optional item with our system. So what I'm going to share with you now is our MouseOX Plus software. Let me just pull up our software here, and then I'll share it with you. And before I move into our software, just talking about our sensors a little bit in more detail, our system can be used on both dark and white subjects. However, if your subject is black, you do need to shave their hair at the sensor site. So that is something to take into account. However, if they're white or nude or don't have any fur, you don't need to worry about removing their hair. So this is the MouseOX Plus software interface. And you can see here that we have a few buttons to select. One is to monitor your subject. The other is for free training. With our system, we offer free web training to our customers at any time. So to start monitoring your subject, what you'll do is select Monitor Subject, and it will ask you if you're taking an anesthetized or conscious measurement, and then you'll be prompted to answer what type of subject you're working with. Lastly, you'll be asked what type of sensor you're using, and today I'm using a thigh sensor. We also have an MRI-compatible sensor that I'm not using today, but that is an option with our system as well. And what I'm going to do is just hit Start and pull up my subject right here, just so you can see the light turning on with my subject. So right now the light is turning on, and you'll see up here in the Pulse Plus window that our system is going through a signal optimization phase. So in pulse oximetry, we use two lights. We use a red light and we use an infrared light. And what we do is we pass those two lights through the tissue of the subject. In this case, we're getting our readings from the femoral artery. And we will adjust the intensities of light that we're sending through the subject so that we can get the best signal. So after a few seconds, you'll see that these lines start to move in phase with one another, and then we have our signal here. So you'll see that we're just waiting for our breath rate measurement to come in now. And speaking about our breath rate measurement, the reason it's last to come in is it is an indirect measurement. So we are monitoring the breath rate by something that we term the thoracic pump. So every time the animal breathes, their thoracic cavity expands and contracts. And with that expansion and contraction, there's a small amount of pressure that's placed on the arteries that surround the thoracic cavity, and we can actually detect a change in blood volume with every breath that the subject takes. So this is our breath rate measurement. And I'm just going to minimize our subject here so you can see the rest of our software interface. After our breath rate, we have our oxygen saturation measurement. We then have our heart rate. Now, our system is specifically designed for mice and rats, and it is calibrated using marine blood, so it is specifically for mice and rats. Our heart rate works with subjects from 90 to 900 beats per minute. So you can see here that our mouse's heart rate is around 560 right now. We can also work with other subjects, rats, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, small non-human primates like marmosets, anything that has a heart rate from 90 to 900 beats per minute. We then have two other measurements that are unique to our system. One is called breath distension, and what that will tell you is how much effort the subject is putting forth to breathe. There's no recommended value for this measurement. However, if the subject would start gasping for air, you would see this measurement go upward. And the last measurement that's unique to our system is called pulse distension. And what pulse distension will tell you is how much blood is in the light path at any given time. The reason that this is important is you need to be able to have enough blood to make a nice pulse oximetry measurement. So on the thigh of a subject, we recommend anything above 10 micrometers in order to get a measurement on your subject. Now, in this software, you'll see that we have different types of readouts. We have readouts that show you the last so many hundred heartbeats of your subject. We also have the current data here. If for some reason you wanted to go back and see what happened at a specific point in time, it will appear in cursor data. In this option right here, this is our premium monitoring and recording software. This will give you data acquisition capabilities. And you'll see down here that you have the option to record your data in a variety of formats. A text file can be imported into Microsoft Excel, whereas a WinDAC is a WinDAC file. It's included with our system. It's an additional software, and what it will do is give you a graphical representation of your data. For today's demonstration, I'm just going to record a text file, and I'm going to save this to my desktop. It'll save it according to today's date and time. So once I click this button, it'll say text file in recording in progress. Press to stop. So now I'm currently recording all of this data in real time. There's also another option in our recording software that's called the diagnostic window. This is nice if you're trying to maintain an anesthesia record, or if you're just looking to take a snapshot of your subject's health and you don't want to see what's happening every single second. So you can use the slider to choose anywhere from 5 to 30 seconds. I'm going to show you 10 seconds for today's demonstration. So if I click Begin Diagnostic, our system is taking 10 seconds of a reading from the subject. Once 10 seconds have elapsed, the system will average all of that data together and report it as one data set. You can see that it's populated in the window right here. I can record this data to a file. It will save it as well according to the date and time. Another feature that you can take advantage of in the diagnostic is something that is called an auto run. What you can do is have our system every 5, 10, or 15 minutes take a measurement from your subject. It will record that and save it to a file, and that file is timestamped. So if I click Start Auto Run Diagnostic, you'll see that it says it's executing. After 10 seconds have elapsed, it will record all that data to a file, and then 5 minutes from now, it will do that again. So you can actually close this window, and it will run in the background. And at the same time, I have a continuous recording going. So at the end of my experiment, I can pick and choose what type of file I want to look at. In this software, we also have alarms. These alarms can be set for each individual parameter. Just to show you what that would look like, I'm going to set our oxygen saturation alarm to trigger if the subject's oxygen saturation goes below 100. So once I click Set Alarm to Close Window, you'll see that I should have an alarm going. Let me make sure that this is set. So you can see here, this is what it would look like if something were to go wrong with your subject, or if you have an alarm that you want to be notified of. The window of the parameter that's in question will turn yellow. There's also an audible beep. You can silence the beep by clicking this button. And in the alarms, you can save these alarm settings, so each and every time you go into the system, it will set to the same default values that you have set. However, if you want to go back to the factory settings, you can just click default values, set alarm, and close window. Also over here we have depth of anesthesia alarms. So what these will do is just tell you if your anesthesia is possibly too deep or too light, and that's by comparing the heart rate to the breath rate, or by comparing breath distension to pulse distension. So this is also a feature that you can use to see if your subject's anesthetized too deeply or too lightly. Lastly, down here we have our temperature window. I'm not using the temperature probe in the subject right now. However, you can see that we have options for Celsius and Fahrenheit. We also have alarms that can be used with monitoring temperature as well. Now, if you're only looking to monitor depth of anesthesia in your subject and you're not concerned about acquiring any data, we do have a very basic setup, and it can only be used in anesthetized subjects, and it will look like this. So basically here you will see all of the measurements that are system reports. You also have the ability to utilize our alarms and to view the temperature window. However, you don't have any of the enhanced chart viewing functionality, and you're not able to record your data. But this is useful if you're just looking to monitor depth of anesthesia, and that's it. So back here, I'm going to pull up the files that I recorded today to show those to you. And what I'm going to do is open up Microsoft Excel, and I'll share that with you right now. And I'm going to open up our continuous recording first, and I'll just go to my desktop and select all files. And our file should be right over here. This is our file that we recorded today. And I'm going to import this into Excel since it is a text file. And right here you can see all of our parameters. So this is the elapsed time in seconds. We also have subject number. I'm using one subject today. However, if you were using multiple subjects, we do have a device called a multiplexer. It's a sensor switching unit, and you can monitor multiple subjects with that. We also have all of our other parameters over here. I'll now show you our diagnostic recording as well. This is a diagnostic recording, and it looks a little bit different. This will show you the date. This is actually a recording that we did in October. It's now December. Show you the subject, and then you'll just have an average reading for each diagnostic that you take. If you have it set to auto run, you'll have one of these for every 5, 10, or 15 minutes. So that's our recording. Now, I did mention to you that we also have another type of software that you can record in, and that's called Windac. So what I'm going to do is just open up Windac for you so you can see that, and I'm going to share it with you and make my screen a bit bigger. So Windac will give you a graphical representation of your data. This file will read from left to right, and you can see our parameters over here going from bottom to top or top to bottom. This monitoring and recording software at no charge. So I'm going to close out of this. And then lastly, what I'd like to just show you is our MouseOX Plus system and how it's connected, so you can see that. Our MouseOX Plus system is right up here. It is a small unit, so it's roughly the size of my hand when it's outstretched. Our MouseOX Plus is currently sitting on top of our multiplexer. I mentioned that before. It's used for multiple subject monitoring. The MouseOX Plus will connect to a wall outlet for power, and then it will connect to a computer via a USB cord. Now, any computer that you have will work. Our device can be used on Mac computers as well, as long as you're utilizing a Windows emulator. But our software requirements can be found on our website under our product user manual. So if you need to see that, it's online and readily available to you. This is just my computer that I have here, which is connected via USB cable, and then we have two ports on the front of the unit. The one on the left is for our temperature sensor, and the one on the right is for our regular sensor. So this is a universal cable. It's 6 feet in length, and this is running behind my benchtop to my subject. And you can see right here that my sensor connects to my universal cable via a female-to-male sensor. So what I'm going to do is actually just take the sensor off the subject. You can see it's a very bright and fiery red light that we're using. So we have no problem getting reading from the subject, whether they're white or if they have dark fur. And just to show you, it's very easy to change out sensors. So if you're doing different types of applications, you can just change your sensor. You would have to go back in the beginning of the software to select the correct sensor type, but I just wanted to show you how the sensor connects to the universal cable, so you can see how easy it is to use and change out sensors. So this basically concludes our basic demonstration of the MouseOX Plus for anesthetized mice. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and I thank you for seeing our demonstration today.